going on, everyone? Caleb Comstock here in Nebraska. In today's Turkey Talk video, we're going to just be talking everything turkey. Pretty much it's the umbrella and whatever falls underneath turkey is what we're going to be talking about today. Jumping right into that, in Nebraska and I think many states you can hunt turkey in the spring and you can also hunt them in the fall. I don't really chase them in the spring or in the fall. I spend most of my time chasing turkeys in the spring. And in the spring, their whole goal is to impress the hen. So when you hear those birds gobbling, what they're trying to do is they're trying to tell the hen, hey, I'm over here. And they're pretty much trying to show off to the hens where they're at, because the springtime is essentially the rut for the turkeys. The springs when they do other breeding, it's when the toms are trying to impress. That's why you see them strutting. That's why you see them gobbling. It's their time to shine to steal the ladies. So the whole goal of spring turkey hunting for the tom, or of the spring season for the tom, is to breed. That's, like I said, their rut. It's what they're trying to accomplish. They want to breed the hens. Turkeys are extremely territorial animals. Like I said, especially in the spring when they're trying to impress the hens, they are extremely territorial, which is why decoys can work so great on many different occasions, because they're so aggressive. They're trying to show that I'm the alpha turkey, and the hens are the ones, like, the hen should be with me because I am the alpha. So that's why decoys can be extremely beneficial in the spring. That's why you always hear birds gobbling more so in the spring than you do in the fall. They're extremely vocal, they're strutting. You see a lot more birds out and about, and that's because they are searching for their hens, because it is their breeding season. So that's the first thing that kind of falls underneath of just the general turkey hunting, is how the spring season is like the turkey's time to shine. The next thing we're going to talk about in today's video is the gear that you need for turkey hunting. One thing that you really need is camo. I mean, from head to toe, turkey's eyesight is probably one of the best eyesights as far as animals when it comes to hunt. So I'm always making sure I have face mask on, I have gloves on, I am camo, I'm trying to blend in as best as I can, because I don't know how, but turkeys can peg you instantly. It's incredible how good their eyesight is. So one thing to make sure is you have good camo. Along with the camos, you're going to want a good pair of boots. I like to wear rubber boots because in the springtime I get in tall grass, it's dewy, I'm crossing water. So I like to wear uninsulated rubber boots just to keep my feet dry, because I never know what type of terrain I'm going to get into. And if I know it's like middle of the day or evening hunt, then that's when I like to wear my regular hiking uninsulated boots, just because when you're turkey hunting, you really don't know how far you're going to have to walk for a bird, especially if you have a lot of acres to work with, or if you're on a big piece of public land. I just like to chase the gobbles. That could be 100 yards, that could be 500 yards, it could be a mile back up on that property. I want to make sure I'm comfortable. Wearing good shoes, wearing good boots, good camo that has you real concealed so you're blending into the environment. I also have a turkey vest. This is a vest I bought at, I think, Midway USA. I think it's actually a Midway USA brand. What I like about that vest is extremely lightweight. Does not put a lot of pressure on me. It's got a lot of pouches and pockets and everything. And that vest, it varies. I mean, early season I'm keeping extra clothes in there, extra face masks. I've got my calls in there. I've got slate calls. I've got my mouth calls. I also keep like a camo skirting in the back of that pouch. I'll keep extra clothes in case I need to layer up. Always keep toilet paper. You never know when duty calls. So that turkey vest is kind of where I keep everything. If I'm going hunting, I'm not leaving my truck without my vest, because it's everything. My license, everything I need to hunt turkeys, I keep in that vest. It also doubles on the pack out. If you're going to shoot a bird, you can put it in the back. There's a pouch back there where you can put a bird in, and that's also, like I said, where I keep camo netting. I usually have more gloves in here, face mask, water bottle, everything that I need to be out in the woods, I keep in that vest. So a turkey vest is extremely valuable to me. I know a lot of people don't run with a turkey vest. They just keep their stuff in pockets or whatever, but for me, turkey vest is something that's crucial when it comes to turkey hunting. And also another important thing is a good pad. This pad actually sucks. So I have a bigger pad that I strap on later on in the year when I'm going to be doing more running and gunning with a shotgun, because when you're sitting next to your tree, your butt gets sore real quickly. So having a good valuable pad, a good pad that keeps you off the ground, is extremely important to keep you out there in the woods. Another thing that you're going to possibly want, depending on your style of hunting, is decoys. Here I've got 2 decoys. This one is a DSD, Dave Smith Strutter. It's the red face one, and I also have a Zinc Avian X lay down hen. I really love to use this strutter early season, early mornings off the roost, because a lot of the times the birds want to pitch down and start strutting because their whole goal is to impress the hens. So I've had great success with the strutter decoy. I mean, if I'm setting up for a bow, most of the time I'm using the strutter. It's more visible. Turkeys can see it from a long ways away, and like I said earlier, turkeys are very territorial, so when they see another bird that's strutting, they're going to want to come investigate and kick its ass. So strutter decoys have been huge for me. I've had a lot of success over them. I usually pair that with a lay down hen, and I also have another hen or two, just either like a lookout hen or a feeder hen. Especially early season, it's kind of show up like, oh, there's a flock of birds out here. That Tom thinks he's impressing all 3 of those hens. I'm going to come over there and investigate and show them who the alpha turkey is. So I also have a Jake hen, or Jake decoy, Avian X Jake decoy that I run. I use that a lot when I'm running and gunning with a shotgun. It's just a lot easier to get set up. This thing, you put the real wings on, you put the real fans on. It's just kind of a pain getting it set up quickly. So I really love using my Jake decoy with a lay down hen. Also, I've had a lot of great success over that. And I've even just gone straight hen decoys, which is what I used back in 2020 when I killed my first recurve bird. I just had 3 hen decoys out there, a lay down, a feeder, and a lookout hen, and I had 4 different toms come straight into those decoys. So those are some just basic tips that's going to get you into turkey hunting. Another thing that you're going to want, I find very helpful, is a good pair of binoculars. We use Vortex optics, so good pair of binoculars to glass birds up in the distance. Turkey vest, camo, calls, decoys are the essentials into getting into hunting. So that's the second thing we're talking about, which is the gear that you need to get started turkey hunting. The next thing we're talking about in today's turkey video is shot placement. Turkeys can be extremely tough to kill, especially with archery equipment. I don't know how many birds I've seen over the years get away. I know my dad for sure has made a couple shots that just look absolutely money, and we can't find the bird anywhere. I've chased birds around. They are tough and hard to kill. So your main 2 ways of hunting turkeys are going to be with a shotgun and with a bow. With a shotgun, a lot of people like to aim kind of at the base of the neck. It's kind of hard to see in the strutter, but a lot of people aim where the neck kind of meets the body. Me, I like my bee about right in the middle of the head. That way if I miss high, it's still hitting the top of the head. If I miss low, it's still hitting the bottom part of the head, and I'm not getting as many BBs into the body. So with a shotgun, head on, I really do not like to take a frontal shot with a shotgun, because all those BBs are going straight into the body, and that's not ideal when you're cleaning a bird and trying to eat it. So I like to wait for a bird to get sideways with a shotgun. And like I said, I aim kind of like right in the middle of the head, and that way if I miss high, I'm still hitting the head. If I miss low, I'm still getting part of the head. So that's with a shotgun. Definitely easier to kill a bird with a shotgun than it is a bow as far as shot placement and things you can get away with. With a bow, there are 2 main types you're going to want to shoot a bird. Either with a headshot or a body shot. Your headshot, they sell big fixed broadheads. I know Magnus makes them. I know there's also like some different turkey guillotines out there. Some new companies that have been coming out with new headshots. So with that, you're obviously going to want to aim for the head. And the whole goal of that is you're either going to hit it and kill it, or you're going to miss it clean. And if you hit it and connect it perfectly, you're going to take that head possibly clean off. My brother did this back in 2018, 2019. Had a Jake come in and he wanted to try shooting with a guillotine, and he did and squared it up perfectly, and it popped that head clean off. Bird was dead instantly. But if you're going to go for a body shot, this is where things get tricky, especially when birds are full strut like this decoy is. So the turkey's vitals are extremely small. They don't bleed a lot. So if you miss even just by a slim margin, chances are you're not going to find that bird. So the rule of thumb that I always follow is I like to find its wing butt. So I find its leg, I follow its wing up, or its leg up, or the leg kind of meets the wing, there's a butt right there. I always try aiming right there. I've had great success there if the bird's broadside. If the bird's quarter or away from you, I like to stick it straight through the back, which is what they call a Texas heart shot. That's going straight through the body, and it's taking out the heart through the back end. I've killed birds that way. And then most recently, one of my favorite shots is a frontal shot. And when I have a frontal shot, I'm putting my beat or my sight right here at the base of its neck, and just trying to bear that arrow all the way through the bird. My dad actually used to hate taking that shot, and I finally convinced him to do it on a gobbler a few years ago, and it killed the bird instantly. So those are your main types of shots you're going to want to shoot aim at when you are hunting with a bow. Like I said, with the shotgun, you're going to want to put your bead right here in the middle of the neck, anywhere on the head, and pull the trigger. So those are some tips to help you when it comes to shot placement on a turkey. The next thing that we're going to talk about is finding turkeys, so locating them. This is most easily done in early mornings or in the evenings when the birds are going up to roost. The reason why I say most easily is because when the birds are most talkative, especially early mornings. Most of the mornings you can go out there and you will hear birds gobbling on the limb. When I say gobbling on the limb, I'm saying gobbling up on the tree. Turkeys roost in trees, they gobble, especially in the spring when the weather is right, because they are trying to show those hens, I'm over here. And they're trying to bring the hens to them rather than going to the hens. So being able to get out in early mornings, right at sunrise, a little bit before sunrise, or even going at sunset, those are great opportunities to go out there and hear birds gobbling on the limb. Another great way to do it is to find open fields. A lot of times in the spring you'll be driving around, you'll see birds in open fields. The reason for them being in open fields is they are scratching. They're trying to dig up the dirt to look for grubs. Turkeys love feeding on grubs. Grubs definitely love fresh soil, and you're going to get in that fresh soil in open disked up fields here in Nebraska. You'll see them in grass fields. They're eating grasshoppers. So if you find open fields or early morning on the limb, evening on the limb, or even getting up to a high vantage point where you can hear over things. I always try to find the highest point on my property. If I'm new to a new property, I always climb to the highest point where I can hear the best and listen for gobblers early in the morning. So those are some tips on how you can locate turkeys. Following along the same lines of locating turkeys is we're going to talk about scouting turkeys. Scouting is probably one of the most important things when it comes to any type of hunting. Last weekend, I spent all last weekend scouting up the properties. I've hunted for years and years and years, but I just want to make sure my scouting from the previous years is holding accurate for this year. And actually on one of my properties it was different. Usually my birds roost in this one particular area, and I went and scouted them Monday morning, and they were not roosted there at all. They're actually roosted on a different property, and they're coming this egg field, which is opposite of what they usually do. They usually roost on my property, go to the egg field, and then go to that different property. So knowing that is definitely going to affect how I'm hunting early season this year. So that's why scouting is extremely important. Not just scouting from previous years, but scouting immediately throughout the season and even during the season. When you're scouting, some things that you want to look for is scratching. If you know what scratching means, that's when turkeys will go around leaves and they'll just sit there and scratch and scratch and scratch. It almost looks like a deer scrape, but you're going to see them all over the place. That's turkey scratchings. That's a telltale sign that the turkeys have been there, whether it's frequently, whether it was from the fall, whenever it was, that shows us that turkeys have been there. If it's real fresh, you will actually see like their claw marks into the dirt, just like you would see on a scrape. So scratching is a great way to show that turkeys have been there. Hen scratch, Jake scratch, Tom scratch. All of them will scratch. So the whole purpose of them scratching is looking for food. They're looking for grubs under those leaves. So Scratching is one thing to cue to when you're scouting. Another thing to look for is strut marks. And some of you, if you haven't seen a lot of strut marks, you might think, what is that? What strut marks are is when you got a strutter like this, and they'll drag their wings on the ground, and they'll move around and just dragging those wings, so it look like almost like just lines in the grass or lines in the dirt. This is easier to see it when fresh dirt or on like sand, but those strut marks will definitely tell us that these are toms that have been in here. And so usually strut marks are going to be fairly fresh, because if it's just in the dirt, any windy day it's going to blow that dirt over and resettle it. So if you're finding strut marks, you know that that's a hot sign, and I'd probably be setting up somewhere around that area in days to come. And then another thing to look for is turkey tracks. Toms have a lot bigger track than a hen. So if you're walking around, you see all these different tracks, and you see one track that's way bigger than the other one, that's probably a telltale sign that there's at least one tom in that area. So definitely be paying attention to the ground, looking for scratches, droppings, tracks, and then strut marks. So those are some tips to help you when it comes to scouting turkeys. The last thing in today's video I'm going to talk about is that 10 to 2 time. 10 to 2 time is what we call midday, and this can be some of your best turkey hunting. From 10 to 2 is usually when you've got birds that have already bred a hen, and now they're looking for a new hen. This could be a slow time of the day where you're not going to hear a lot of gobblers, but that bird you do hear gobbling, there's a good chance you're going to be able to call him in. And the reason being is, like I said, he's already bred one hen, he's done with that hen. So now he's moving on, just like a buck is cruising, this tom is now moving on, searching for a new hen to breed and find the rest of the day. So that 10 to 2 time, the birds are spread out, the hens have gone and laid on their nest, some hens have already been bred, and that learned gobbler is looking for that new hen that he wants to breed, that is ready to breed. So that 10 to 2 time, it's a great time to find a bird that's by himself. It's a great time to find a bird that's hot. And if that bird's hot, keep him hot. What I mean by that is if that bird's gobbling, keep him gobbling. He's obviously liking something. He's looking for a hen. So if he's responding to your hen call, keep him going. If he starts hanging up a little bit, that's when you go quiet on him and see if the quiet impatience is going to kill this bird, or you better off just stay hot and aggressive on him. So 10 to 2 is a great time to find a bird, especially late season for me. Birds definitely split up after mid-morning. You get into that midday stretch where you're finding lone toms. Those can be in the middle of the field. I like to run ridges at that time of the day because I'm getting up high, I'm pitching my sound over top of them, and then I can hear if they're responding to me. And if that bird's hot, like I said, keep him hot. Keep him calling, because he's probably coming in, and that's a very killable bird. So that 10 to 2 time frame is a great time to kill a bird, especially if you're running and gunning with a shotgun. Hopefully you found some things in today's video that will help you this coming spring season and for years to come. For me, I will be starting hunting in just a little over a week. In Nebraska, we start on March 25th, so super excited to get out there. I've checked 4 or 5 of my properties, and the turkey numbers are actually looking pretty good this year. So I can't wait to get out there, start chasing gobblers. So I'll be bringing some content from this season. I know after this video, Alex is going to be, I think he's producing his Minnesota turkey video. So if you would, please like and subscribe to our channel. It helps us out a lot. It helps us bring you more content and just keep going. So it helps us keep producing videos for you, and I can't wait to get out there this spring and start chasing gobblers of my own.